All right, let's get straight to the point. That tiny device next to your bed, you know the one, you probably think it's just your alarm clock. Well, it's setting off a massive chain reaction in your brain every single morning. It's a neurological ambush, really, and we're about to break down exactly how. And look, this isn't just a you problem, it's pretty much an everybody problem. Research shows that over 80% of us, yeah, 8 out of 10 people, check our phones within the first 15 minutes of waking up. Just think about that. We're starting our days not with our own thoughts, but with whatever an algorithm decides to show us. It's become this universal ritual. So that brings us to the big question, right? What if that one tiny, seemingly harmless act is the first domino that just knocks over your entire day? We're going to explore this whole domino effect, how hitting snooze and grabbing your phone can set off this cascade of negative stuff that literally follows you until your head hits the pillow again. So let's tip over that first domino and see what happens. Okay, so mistake number one. For most of us, our very first interaction of the day is with that snooze button. It feels so good, doesn't it? Like you're getting a little gift of 9 extra minutes. But in reality, it's the first act of self-sabotage. And it's all based on a total misunderstanding of how our brains are supposed to wake up. First, we need to talk about something called sleep inertia. It's the official scientific name for that grogginess, that brain fog you feel right when you wake up. And here's the thing, it's not just a feeling, it's a real, measurable state your brain is in. Now, everybody gets it, but hitting the snooze button, oh, that just makes it so much worse and makes it last way longer. See, in that last hour of sleep, your brain is usually in deep REM sleep, which is super important for memory and managing your emotions. But when that alarm blares and you smack the snooze button, you're basically yanking your brain out of that crucial work. And as you drift off again, it's not into good sleep, nope. You're entering this light, choppy, totally unrefreshing state. Then, boom, 9 minutes later, the alarm goes off again, another shock to the system, another jolt of stress. You're literally training your body to have a terrible morning. And there's science to back this up. A 2022 study looked at this exact thing. They found that snoozers had, on average, 12 sleep stage transitions in their last 20 minutes of sleep. The people who just got up, they only had about 3.5. And the result? The no-snooze group reported way more global vigor. Basically, they felt more energized and alert. The snoozers? Well, they started their day in a much deeper cognitive hole. So you've already weakened your brain with the snooze button. What's next? You pick up the phone. And this is the 1-2 punch. It's a neurological shock to your already vulnerable, groggy brain. You know, when you wake up naturally, your brain does this beautiful, gentle transition. It goes from deep sleep waves to creative waves to a nice, calm, aware state. It's a smooth process. But when you grab your phone, you just skip all of that. The flood of notifications and emails instantly jolts your brain into high-frequency beta waves. That's the state of being alert, sure, but it's also the state of stress and reaction. You're basically putting your brain into fight or flight mode before your feet even hit the floor. So why on earth is this so addictive? Well, it's because your phone, especially social media, is literally engineered to hijack your brain's reward system. We're talking about dopamine, that chemical that makes you feel good and want more. These apps are designed exactly like slot machines. They use this trick called intermittent reinforcement. You never know when you're going to get a like or a new message, so you just keep pulling that lever, scrolling, chasing that unpredictable little hit of pleasure. And this is what that chase looks like in the morning. A fire hose of what I call cheap dopamine. It's coming from social media alerts, urgent emails from your boss, stressful news headlines, all those texts you missed. The huge problem here is that this early morning flood raises your dopamine baseline for the whole day. So later, when you have to do actual hard work that doesn't give you an instant reward, your brain's like, nah, this is boring. You've already burned through all the cheap thrills. And while that's happening, you're messing up another crucial process, the cortisol awakening response. Now, cortisol gets a bad rap as the stress hormone, but in the morning, it's your best friend. It's this natural, healthy surge that wakes you up and makes you feel alert. But checking your phone throws a wrench in the works. You're hit with immediate stressors, a demanding email, bad news. And that can totally disrupt this natural response, flooding your system with the wrong kind of stress way too early. So let's recap where we are. You're starting your day groggy, you're stressed out, and your brain chemistry's all out of whack. You've essentially built your day's foundation on sand. Now, let's watch how that weak foundation makes the whole thing crumble. The key thing to understand is that your brain's executive function isn't limitless. This is the sophisticated part of your brain that handles focus, impulse control, making complex decisions, all the hard stuff. Think of it like a battery. You wake up with a full charge, but every little distraction, every decision you make drains it just a little bit. And that snooze and scroll routine, it's like starting your day with your phone battery already at 60%. You are not beginning at 100%. By the time you fought with your alarm clock and exposed your brain to all that chaos, you're heading into your workday with a serious cognitive deficit. You're running on fumes before you've even had your coffee. This state has a name: executive function depletion. And when that mental battery is low, your brain switches to autopilot. It defaults to lazy, habitual, low-effort thinking. It looks for the easy way out, making the easy choice, not the best choice, because it just doesn't have the energy for the hard thinking required for good decisions. And you can see this whole domino effect in action throughout the day. At 9 a.m., you can't focus on that important report because your brain is already wired for distraction. By 11, you're craving more of that cheap dopamine, so you're back to scrolling. At 1 p.m., your depleted brain chews the easy, sugary lunch for a quick energy spike. By 3 p.m., procrastination hits hard on that big project because it just feels too overwhelming. And by 8 p.m., you're so mentally exhausted that you can't have a real conversation, so you just retreat back to the easy dopamine of your phone. See? One bad morning created one really bad day. But here's the good news. This whole domino thing, it works both ways. Just as a negative first domino can wreck your day, a positive one can build an amazing one. So let's stop talking about the problem and focus on the solution. Let's start a positive chain reaction. It's a simple 3-step reset. Step 1, get an old school alarm clock, seriously, and charge your phone in another room. Out of sight, out of mind. Step 2, commit. When that alarm goes off, your feet hit the floor. No snoozing, period. And step 3, get sunlight before you get screen light. Just open the blinds. Natural light is this incredibly powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, it's time to be awake. The whole idea is to replace that bad habit with a good one. So instead of scrolling, what could you do? You could meditate for just 5 minutes. You could journal, plan out your day on actual paper, read a few pages from a real book, do some simple stretches, make a healthy breakfast without your phone next to you, or just have a real conversation with someone in your house. Anything that lets your brain wake up gently and sets a proactive tone for the rest of your day. I love this quote from Dr. Rebecca Robbins, a sleep researcher. She says, the best thing to do is set your alarm for the latest possible time you can, and then just commit to getting up when it goes off. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. It's about waking up better. Be honest with yourself about when you need to get up, and then just honor that promise. Look, if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Protect the first hour of your day. Treat it like it's sacred. It's the rudder that steers your entire day. Keep it safe from the noise and distraction of the outside world, and let your own brain, your own thoughts, have the very first word. And I want to leave you with this thought from John C. Maxwell. This isn't just about having a slightly better morning. It's about realizing that these tiny daily choices, these are the things that build the entire structure of our lives. When you change your morning routine, you're not just changing your day, you're changing the entire trajectory of your life. And that really brings us to the final question. You have all the science now. You've seen the 2 paths laid out in front of you. One starts with the snooze and the scroll, and it leads to a day of distraction and feeling drained. The other starts with intention, leading to a day of energy and focus. The choice is completely yours. So, which domino are you going to push tomorrow?